University life slowly reshaped me. I began waking earlier, organizing my time, and setting goals that had nothing to do with proving myself to anyone. For the first time, I was building a future instead of reacting to the past. Florence remained my quiet inspiration. She never lectured, yet her discipline spoke loudly. She worked long hours, saved carefully, and still carried kindness wherever she went. Watching her taught me that strength did not need drama. One afternoon, she told me, "Peace is more powerful than revenge." Those words stayed with me. I realized how much anger I had carried since Mother died and Sarah entered our lives. I had won battles, but victory without peace felt empty. I wanted something better: stability, purpose, and self-respect. I began volunteering at a community literacy program near campus. Teaching children to read awakened something new in me. Their excitement reminded me of innocence I had almost lost. For the first time, I felt useful. I was no longer the girl fighting shadows at home. I was becoming a woman shaping light for others. And slowly, I began to forgive my past. My relationship with Father also changed. We started talking openly, not as child and protector, but as two people learning from mistakes. He apologized one evening, something I never expected. "I was not always present," he admitted quietly. Hearing that released years of silent resentment. I realized he too had been struggling. Lonely, imperfect, human. We began having weekly dinners together. Instead of arguments or tension, we shared stories about work, dreams, and memories of Mother. For the first time, remembering her brought warmth instead of pain. Florence encouraged reconciliation. "Families heal when someone chooses understanding," she said. I chose understanding. At school, my confidence grew. I joined debate club, drama society, and entrepreneurship workshops. Acting still thrilled me, but now I saw storytelling as a way to inspire people, not escape reality. My classmates noticed the change. I smiled more. I listened more. I no longer searched desperately for a prince to rescue me. I was learning something important. A woman becomes powerful the moment she realizes she can rescue herself. And my life was finally moving forward. During my final year, I developed an idea for a youth mentorship project, combining theater, education, and leadership training. I wanted young girls to believe in possibilities beyond survival. The project started small, just 5 students in a borrowed classroom. We practiced public speaking, confidence building, and storytelling. Soon, parents began attending performances. Teachers offered support. The program grew faster than I imagined. Standing before those young girls, I saw my younger self, uncertain yet hopeful. I told them, "Your story does not begin with pain. It begins with choice." That moment changed me. Success no longer meant marrying wealth or chasing luxury. Success meant impact. Father attended one of our performances. I saw pride in his eyes. Genuine, quiet pride. Later, he hugged me and said, "You have become stronger than I ever was." Those words healed something deep within me. I understood then that my journey was never about escaping my past. It was about transforming it into purpose. I was no longer searching for validation. I had discovered my calling. Years later, I stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing Nairobi skyline. The city no longer felt confusing or cold. It felt full of opportunity. My mentorship organization had expanded nationwide. I worked with schools, artists, and community leaders, empowering young women to pursue education and independence. Love eventually entered my life, gently, without drama. He was kind, respectful, and supportive of my ambitions. There were no grand fairy tale gestures, only consistency and mutual respect. I finally understood Florence's wisdom. Love grows. Looking back, I felt gratitude instead of bitterness. Mother's strength, father's charm, Florence's guidance, all had shaped me. The girl who once feared the future had become a woman creating it. I smiled at my reflection in the window. The real golden girl was not defined by wealth, beauty, or romance. She was defined by resilience, growth, and purpose. My story was no longer about survival. It was about becoming light for myself and for others. And this time, the future felt bright. The auditorium was full. Rows of young girls, teachers, parents, and community leaders waited as my name echoed through the hall. The banner behind the stage read Golden Girl Initiative, empowering the next generation. For a moment, I stood backstage, breathing slowly. Memories flooded my mind: Mother's silent suffering, Father's chaos, Sarah's intrusion, my anger, my loneliness. All the battles that once defined me now felt distant, like storms that had passed. Florence squeezed my hand. "You are ready," she whispered. I walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. The lights were warm, not intimidating. Instead of fear, I felt peace. I was no longer performing a role. I was standing in my truth. I used to believe happiness came from perfect love or perfect wealth, I began. But I learned something greater. Happiness comes from becoming whole. The audience fell silent. I spoke about education, resilience, forgiveness, and self-worth. I spoke to the young girl who once lived inside me, the one searching for validation. And as I spoke, I realized something profound. My story had stopped being about pain. It had become about purpose. After the event, Father approached me slowly. Age had softened him. His confidence remained, but humility now lived in his eyes. "You surpassed all my dreams," he said quietly. I hugged him, not as a daughter seeking approval, but as a woman offering forgiveness. We had both grown. Florence stood beside us, smiling proudly. She had become the bridge that rebuilt our family. Watching them together filled me with gratitude instead of fear. That night, we shared dinner filled with laughter, something once impossible in our home. No tension, no competition, only peace. Later, alone under the stars, I reflected on the journey. I had chased love, fought battles, questioned identity, and survived emotional storms. Yet the greatest victory was internal. I no longer needed to prove my worth. I understood now. Strength is not domination. It is healing. The girl who once feared abandonment had become a woman capable of creating belonging for herself and for others. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely free. Years passed. The Golden Girl Initiative expanded across Africa, mentoring thousands of young women. Schools invited me to speak. Media called me a symbol of modern African empowerment. But success did not change my values. I still visited libraries. I still mentored personally. I still remembered where I came from. One afternoon, a young girl approached me after a workshop. "I want to be like you," she said shyly. I smiled gently. "Don't be like me," I told her. "Be the best version of yourself." Her eyes lit with confidence. In that moment, I understood legacy. It was not fame or wealth. It was inspiration multiplied through others. Love also found its natural place in my life. Not dramatic or consuming, but steady and respectful. A partnership built on equality. I had finally found the balance I once searched for: ambition, family, purpose, and peace. The past no longer haunted me. It strengthened me, and I knew my journey was only beginning. Standing on a balcony overlooking the glowing city lights, I watched Nairobi breathe beneath me. Alive, ambitious, unstoppable. Once, I had dreamed of rescue. Now I was the architect of my own destiny. The wind carried laughter from the streets below. Somewhere, another young girl was dreaming big, just as I once had. I closed my eyes and whispered a silent thank you to Mother for her strength, to Father for his lessons, to Florence for her wisdom, and to myself for refusing to give up. Life had taught me a final truth. A golden girl is not born from perfection. She is forged through struggle, courage, forgiveness, and growth. I turned away from the skyline and walked forward, not toward an ending, but toward endless possibility. My story was no longer about surviving the world. It was about changing it. And as the city lights shimmered like gold beneath the night sky, I finally understood who I had become. I was not searching for the golden girl anymore. I was her.